Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome to the circus. Yes, let's do it. Welcome to this circus that is this stock market. Yeah. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Step right up. Give us all your money, and we will make sure that you get nothing back. Yes, sir. You better FOMO. You better FOMO. Yes, sir. Start FOMOing right now. You seen all these 52-week highs? It is time. Hurry, hurry, hurry. For a limited time only, we will let you get a 52-week highs or stock, and then you can decide for yourself if you want to keep it when we knock it 50%, my friends. Yeah, yeah. It's a beautiful day today, my friends. It's a beautiful day. Stock market is ripping. I'm sure there's no shenanigans at play. No, sir. So please hurry, hurry, hurry. Can you guys listen clearly, or am I getting feedback here? Very curious to see that. Anyway, sorry, man. I don't mean to be I don't mean to be cheeky today, but I just thought it would be extremely hilarious to start the day um, with a little music of what I think and how I feel should be played today because um, things are extremely entertaining this morning. Let's see here. Yeah. So good morning, my fellow simpletons and degenerates. I figured I'd come in and liven up the day. Just like I said, this is exactly how I feel about the market. Are you guys listening to this clearly, or is there a feedback? Is there like an echo? Yeah, yeah. It's a circus out there, my friends. It is a circus. It is great. I love it. It's a circus out there. 52-week highs, guys. Come on now. Step right up. Buy all these stocks at 52-week highs, please. Come on in. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Today only, guys. You get everything. You get everything at 52-week highs. Come on in. Buy all these stocks right now. Buy them at 52-week highs. Because guess what? They're going to short the crap out of them. They're going to short the crap out of them, and you're going to be left holding the bag. But it's all right. Because millionaires and billionaires are going to make ridiculous amounts of money. Good morning, my fellow simpletons and degenerates. I hope you guys are doing great. Another day, another dollar, right? I see that man, oh man, oh man, my Savage 20 are ripping. I just, it's a good thing. It's a good day. QUBT, QBTS, mooning, mooning. And I love it. I mean, this is exactly why we go into stocks that have been, undervalued and 52-week lows, so that when people wake up, the market wakes up and they start talking about them somewhere, they'll fly. So like my portfolio is insane right now. It's it's almost at an all-time high. I'm sorry to say, and I don't mean it in a bad way. It's extreme. I find it fascinating, right? Because a lot of my stocks are actually well, not a lot of them. Some of them are getting hit, right? Like C3.ai. I have a pretty nice position on that, and then it's obviously under 20. It got hit big time. It's starting to recover, but nowhere near a 52-week high. However, my portfolio is extremely green, and it's just it's almost at an all-time. It's an all-time high, right? SOFI is basically trying to scratch 30. And I told you guys, if it's triple witching hour day, and I told you guys yesterday, if we wake up to a green day, which was more than likely, this is what happens, right? There's going to be a nice little pump in the morning, and things are green, and as the day wears on, the stocks kind of start pivoting down, and then that's kind of when all these companies are, all these investment companies are trying to balance their sheets, and then they start looking at their laggards, right? They start looking at the companies that have not really panned out and that are at a loss for them, and then they make a decision and say, we're not going to be going forward with this one company because their quarterly earnings this year have not been where we thought they were going to be, and so we're going to sell even if it's at a loss, and then they're going to take that money, and then kind of move it elsewhere, right? So that's what happens. It's all over, balancing. It's not just it's not just it's not just the stock market, right? Not just stocks. It's also bonds. It's also forex. International trading. All that is taken into account, and so, anyways, so that's what happens, right? And so we're talking about index futures, stock index options. Stock options, it's just, we're talking about puts and options, right? We're talking about puts, calls, everything, and even futures, right? So that's kind of why today is kind of crazy. And so, anyways, I told you guys, if you guys see a lot of green, don't be afraid to write some cover calls out a couple of months and bringing in some money. SOFI, for example, today, if you would have written a 35, I told you guys, you're scared to write some 30s, for January, write some 35s, right? And try to bring in, $2-3. Guess what? I saw some SOFI cover calls being sold this morning, $35 strikes for $250. So if somebody did that 10 times, right? If somebody did 10 of them, they just bring $2,500 for maybe the chance of someone buying SOFI at $35 a share in January. Right, that person is laughing their asses off right now because, again, the market's starting to come down. The euphoria is kind of burning off. Retail comes in and starts swooping stuff at 52-week highs, and then powers that be say, what, we're going to start cutting positions here and there. We're going to take profits. We have to balance our sheets, and then you start seeing all that decline, right? And then what happens? And then you're like, oh man, what happened? I thought we were going to go up. Stocks only go up, baby. Stocks only go up. Why am I holding the bag? Why did I just lose money? That's because, this is by design, my friends. It's not personal. This is exactly what happens on Triple Witching Day. What do we got in the house here, my friends? We got Moneymaker Juan laughing his ass off in the morning. D-Tram in the house saying good morning. Jay Gill's in the house. Chase Rosita Parker's in the house. Moneymaker saying we can hear just fine. Jay Gill saying no echo. Hector is saying good morning. Mando number 5 is saying hola to all people in here. F Gom is saying yo, it's Ryan is in the house saying roll some SoFi January 2027 put spreads for 107, 25s, 27s. Okay, cool. CKT saying you got me on those SoFi $35 cover calls. Mine filled at 245. Good, right? That's right. CKT just keeps making the good moves, man. Keeps making the good moves, and that's what I'm saying. Don't be scared of the upside. Don't be afraid of the upside, because at the end of the day, why are you here? Why are you in the stock market, right? Why? So that you can make money. Do you understand the amount of money that has to come into SoFi to go to 35? We're talking about at least $2 billion, right? Which I'm not saying it cannot happen. I'm just saying $2-3 billion is not that easy. And again, Triple Witching Day, a lot of companies are rebalancing, right? So maybe some will, take profit off of SoFi and then move it elsewhere. Or, they're going to come in and get off of something that was, losing them money, and now they're on SoFi. This is what happens. It's all good. It's all good. The point is to make money, and CKT decided, what, I got SoFi. I'm in the 10s, in the teens, average wise, and I want to sell some 35s for January because I made $5,000 today. Why don't I make a couple of thousand today? Yesterday he made like $5,000, $6,000, and today he's trying to make another couple of $1,000. There's nothing wrong. He's making money. He's taking what the market is giving him, and that's exactly how we do it. Is your stock running 5-10% today? Don't be afraid to sell some covered calls and bring in money. Make it real. Um, it's Ryan saying we will need to buy bulk buy Kleenex wiping out tears for these percentage profits. Exactly. So like people are just like, oh man, I only took 50%, 40% profit. I could have held for more. Yeah, you could have, right? But what if it would have just tanked? What if that percentage instead of 40, because you held too long, or 50, you're gonna go and get 10% now, or you just leave it there and then like next week you start losing money. That's what happens, like, you know, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So don't get caught oinking around, my friends. Don't get caught oinking around. Anyways, the Savage 20 are ripping today. Look at that. QUBT, quantum computing. I've been telling you guys for months, since quantum computing was like 13 bucks, 13, 14 bucks. I was telling you guys, I'm selling some $15 cash secure puts on this, and I was going out 2-3 months, and then I kept rolling them, because I'm just daring the market, and I just bought them back for like nothing this morning. And I made a nice little chunk of cash, and now quantum computing is up, what, 32% for the last month, 24% today. QUBT. I told you guys, QUBT. I was like, do you guys want to play in the quantum realm? Do you guys want to make money for this quantum business? Because that's the next frontier. The next AI is quantum. And I told you guys, some people are saying it's going to take 10, 8 years to get there. And I'm like, no, it's not. Like with this AI chips and working as fast as they're working, we're talking about 24 hours a day, right? You put some robots out there and you put some AI, working on all these algorithms. You're talking 3 years, 3 to 4 years for quantum to be a thing. So these are the companies, these companies that were like 60 cents, 80 cents, 90 cents, like this year. Yeah, these companies are now 25, 20, 30 bucks, and they're not stopping. And then you're like, oh man, I'll wait for it to go back down to $5 or $4. It's like, nah, I don't think they're gonna come down to $5, $4. I mean, quantum is the next thing. That's like saying Nvda, I want to wait for Nvda to get down to 50 bucks again. Like that is very unlikely. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying it's extremely unlikely, right? Another one, Rigetti. I was telling you about, God damn it, Rigetti computers. I was telling people about Rigetti when it was like 10 bucks a share, 11 bucks a share. Rigetti, RGTY. It's 27.88 as of today. And today's up 13%. Rigetti's there. It's been there for a while. And, you could have gone through a cash secure put, use that premium to buy the stock, at market price, and then you could have taken a ride. It is all good, though. Ionq. I was telling Ionq. I was telling people about this when it was 15 bucks. It's $70 today. It's 69.90 right now. SoundHound. That's the next one. SoundHound's gonna pop. So right now, what do we got? SoundHound anywhere under 15, right? SoundHound is a gift. Maybe next week we get it at 14 something or at 13 something. You could even go through cash secure puts, sell some $15 cash secure puts out to January, and bring in some dough. Get paid to buy the stock, right? This is how we do. We're never afraid of the downside. If it comes down for whatever reasons a bit, right, then you do cash secure puts for, 13, 12s, and then average down. That's kind of how you got to do the stock market. That's how you do this thing, man. Don't be afraid to take a chance. Domo is almost at $18 a share. I actually, I got filled on, I bought back a Figma cash secure put that I have written. I got like $8 for it. I bought it back for like, I think like $5 or something. It was I think it was a $60 put. And so anyways, let's see here. Figma right now, it's kind of trending down a bit. It was down almost 5%. So let's see here. Go to November 21st and look at Figma. You can look at the $55 puts and try to get $7 for it. See if you get filled, right? Not a terrible way to get a startup position in Figma. Is that too pricey for you? Well, look at the 50s. Look at the 50s. You can get $420 right now if you basically go into a cash secure put that expires in November. The $50 cash put for Figma is giving you $420. Essentially, you're buying at $45.80. Nothing wrong with that, my friends. Let's see here. Kent's mom is in a house. Kent's mom, how you doing? Good morning. I hope you're doing great. CKT, everyone needs to look at ASTS today, up 7.75. January 50 covered call fill for 697. Damn, CKT keeps making money. Good for you. I sold some $50 ASTS cash secure puts out to, I think, March. And I brought in, I think, like $14 or $15. I'm chilling. I'm just chilling. I'm waiting to get filled because time is passing, right? And so if they decide they want to play games with ASTS and keep it under 50, great. I'm literally buying the shares for $35. That's why I went up to 50. So anyways, that's how I'm playing that game. I like to get paid to buy the stock. You are getting paid because you own the stock and you're selling $50 covered calls for $7 out to January. That's how you do it, my friend. That's how you do it. It was a pop today. ASTS pop today. Let's see here. ASTS up 7.5% right now. This is kind of when you do it. It's $44 right now. You're basically saying, give me $600 more for these 100 shares, for this block of 100 shares. And some person out there in the world of finance, some kind soul that has money in their pocket, that's burning a hole in their pocket, he's like, yeah, here's $700. Let me buy your January $50 calls on ASTS for $7. The stock's at $44. Okay, in order for it to make sense, that stock has to be basically at $51 for that person to start making money, because they're paying $7 for the cover. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. It's got to be at $57 for that person to like really start making money. However, you know what? It's there. It's free money. It's free money. CKT right now could take those $697 and wipe away his tears right now with those $100 bills. Or even better, guess what? He can pay his car note. If he has a car note, he just paid this month with that covered call. He's making the money real. He can go and shop for groceries for the month, right? He can go and take his significant other to a wonderful restaurant and have a great dinner, and they could toast to the gambler that's out there that just financed that dinner. He could put that money towards more shares. He could go in and buy some C3.ai right now, some shares at market price. Got $700 worth, right? He could go and buy, I don't know, 5 shares of Nvda right now with that money. What is wrong with that? Nothing wrong with that at all. Well, maybe not, maybe 4 shares, but still, the fact that he's got that option, to me, it's just wonderful. Manda number 5 is saying Savage is savage. We're trying, bro. There's a reason I chose that name. Small positions in Qbt and RGTY so far. Only 10 shares on Ionq. Just waiting for drops to keep buying. So that's how you do it. You got to wait and be patient and see if it happens. And if it doesn't, and it starts going up to the next leg, then you're going to start seeing that, at some point, this next leg up is going to come down 5%. You go through a cash secure put, go out a couple of months, below strike, 1 strike below where it's at, and then you get paid to own the stock. That's just how you do it. You have to have a discipline, and that's the discipline, right? It's more than one way to skin a cat. As long as you have a naked cat at the end of the day, that's what matters, man. It's Ryan saying QBYT set to closing only. Buy button is off like GME during squeeze. Really, the Qbt? That's very interesting. What broker? I would get on the phone right now. Good morning, everyone. It's saying Double D. Kalua Dre morning. Great day so far. It's Ryan saying it's odd. I could buy one share of QBT, but I can't do a put spread because it's set to closing only. That's very interesting. Yeah, using Tasty. Yeah, I don't know, man. Let's see here. QUBT. Quantum computing's up 24, 25% on the Trump administration's expanded quantum strategy and strong market momentum. The Trump administration announced plans to expand the U.S. quantum computing strategy, and that's exactly why it's ripping. The Trump administration announced plans to expand the U.S. quantum computing strategy, aiming to boost innovation and national security. This development was reported early today, and it set some major positive catalysts for quantum computing. Quantum computing shares jumped 24.63 today, reaching 2287, driving by strong session performance and technical momentum. The stock is trading well above its 20-day and 200-day moving average, reflecting growing investor interest amid positive news flow. Just saying, guys, it's been there. It's been there all along. QUBT, QBTS, they've been there, man. Whether you want to take a position on it or not, you know what? But it's there, and there's actually a leverage fund, the QUBX Trader 2X Long QUBT Daily ETF. Just saying, which is quite expensive right now. It's actually worth more than QUBT, but it's a leverage, so that's why it's at 2X, meaning if the stock goes up 1%, that goes up 2%. But if the stock goes down 2%, then that goes down 4%. So just be wary of that. Let's see here. Webull is up 5% today. What did I tell you guys? I said $12.50 cash secure puts out to January, free money. $15 cash secure puts out to January, free money. $20 cash secure puts out to 2027, free money. Webull is going to be $20, $25, $30 a share soon, right? How soon? Could be months, could be a year. When we invest in a company, you have to have a mindset of investing on it for at least 5 years. That's exactly how you know a stock is good. You're not going to go into some shitty stock. You're going to go and you're going to read about your company. You're going to read that they have good fundamentals, that they're well managed, well ran. There is no shenanigans, that there is no ghost shares out there, right? And so you're gonna take as much positive information that you have or negative, and then you're gonna make a decision. And the best way to mitigate going into a bad trade is to have as much information as possible, and then with that information you're gonna make your decision as to whether you want to invest it or not. So let's see, AAOI. I had some puts on AAOI, and I'm honestly down 20%. I honestly thought it was going to go down, but it's early. These puts expire October 17th, so I'll give it next week, see what happens. I think these can come down. I may have not seen exactly what was happening. I may have overextended myself and thought that I was smarter than I am. Right, so that's what happens. It's okay. Lyft is up almost 1%. It was up 3% this morning. It's down some. Look, Lyft, guys. Instead of spending $100 or so per share on Uber, Lyft was there for $15 a share not too long ago, like a month ago. And I was telling people, someone asked me, "Hey, is it too late to get into Uber?" And I said, I don't know if it's too late, but this is what I would say. Uber is 100 and something a share. Lyft does the same thing that that Uber does, and it's there at $15 a share. So basically, you can get 100 shares of Lyft for $1,500 instead of paying, $1,500 for like 12, 13, 14 shares of Uber. And with 100 shares, you can sell a covered call, right? So that's kind of why we're here. This is what I like to do. I like to take a position. I like to have it run in the green. And then I like to, if it goes up 10, 15, 20%, right? Then I write some covered calls against it. And I go out a couple of months, up a strike or two, and then bring in money, right? If I bought at 15 and I sell some $25 covered calls, you right, out a couple of months and I bring in $2, $3, I bought at 15, I'm essentially selling at 28. That's almost 100% return on investment in a couple of months. That's a win. That is a win. Now, you could always argue and say, well, you could have, if you wouldn't have done that covered call, and you got taken out, then you lost your shares. And, okay, big deal. I made money. You know what could have happened as well? It could have happened that the shares, went down in value. And instead of being, $25, they went down to $17, $18, $19. In a couple of months from now, those covered calls die worthless. And guess what? I still have my shares, but I also made, $300 in that covered call, $200, $300. And I can now write against my shares again. But this time I'm not going to do 25s. I'll do 2250s, still bringing another $200, $300, thus making me an income, right? Rotating, generating income. And then I use that income as I see fit. I could do it for a myriad of things, right? I could pay my mortgage. I could, pay bills. I could go grocery shopping, right? I could pay for trips. My kids play sports. I could pay for whatever, gear or equipment they need, right? I have to, always pay a deductible whenever my kids get sick and we use our insurance. Guess what? The gamblers will pay for that. And I try not to use my own, hard-earned money if I can help it, right? You have a nice size portfolio where you're generating income all the time. Some people could very well make $100,000 to $150,000 a year selling covered calls and cash secure puts. And then thus, that's a full-time job. That's a couple of full-time jobs, right? The average hourly wage in the United States is $7 an hour. That's a lot more than that, right? I think we did an exercise like a week ago where I saw in the Wall Street Journal that some gentleman was kind of nervous because he said, my wife, she really doesn't know what she's doing when it comes to financing. I'm the one that does everything. And she's kind of ignorant, basically. That's what he said. I'm paraphrasing, but he was pretty harsh, basically saying, she's ignorant to how to trade and how to finance, and work the portfolio. So like that's what he was doing. And he's scared because, he's 20 years older than her. They have a kid. He's like, if I leave her, what I have, which is like $1.1 million in like 401k money, 2 houses, one of them which they Airbnb, and like $200,000 in cash. And then we did an exercise and I said, they don't have to touch any of that. You could just take the 401k, take $1 million out of that. And we did an exercise. We bought, I think, some $30 cash secure puts, some SOFIs out to 2027. I think some Nvda, $200 cash secure puts out to 2027. I think we did some Webull, $20 cash secure puts out to 2027. We did some other ones, but anyways, so it was not that many companies. There was like 4 companies, and then we did like 50 contracts, 30 contracts, 20 contracts here, there, and we brought in, and we were doing it in an ETF on Charles Schwab that brings in 5% a year, right? So you get 4 or 5% a year out of $1 million. That's $50,000. That's 5%, right? And then you make $350,000, $400,000 on premium alone. This was premium alone, okay? From the cash secure puts. We were almost at like 40%, 45% on $1 million portfolio, like $1 million that we had to play with. And the thing is that we didn't even get to the $1 million to investing the whole million. I think we got to like 800,000. We still had $200,000 in cash. We never got to $1 million, and we had all this premium, and we were like, you can make a lot of money with $1 million if you decide, that you're just gonna stop being scared. You take control over your own finances, and you learn how to do cash secure puts and cover calls. You can make a very good life for yourself. And you don't need $1 million, by the way, to start investing. You can start with like $100. You start with $100. Like you start with $100. You buy every chance you get. And this is one thing that I have. If you guys have watched me for a few months or longer, you guys know that my mentor is Uncle Bruce, Stock Markets with Bruce, right? This guy's great mentor. Great strategies when it comes to covered calls and cash secure puts. And one of the difference of opinion that we have with him is the fact that he tells people that they should leave their day job so they can trade every day, right? And he also does 0 day to expiries, and I don't like those. I don't like them at all. I am for people using the strategies that make you money that are very conservative. You're going to win 90% of the time. Okay, covered calls and cash secure puts. You start with a cash secure put on a company that you want to own on red days. Okay, a day when the stock is down 5, 10, 15%, and it's a good stock, good company. No shenanigans have happened. Great board, right? Great way that they run the company, and a great baseline, right? And then you go through a cash secure put. Eventually, at some point, you're going to put those shares into your account. In which case, you're going to wait until the stock goes up 10% or 15% on a day, and then you're going to sell covered calls, right, against it. Basically saying, I'm willing to sell my shares at 10, 15% more than where they are today, right, in a couple of months, and you're going to give me $100, or like I don't know, 10, 15, 20% of whatever the stock is worth at that time. So basically, you're selling for more than the stock is worth. You buy the stock for less than it is worth on a red day, and so you're always up in the positive. And if you sell the stock, great, you made money. Then you're gonna do it again, or that premium money that you get, you buy shares somewhere else. Expanding your portfolio. That's kind of how you do it, right? So anyway, Uncle Bruce is the frame of thought that people should leave and stop working and do this for a living. But it's really easier said than done. If you have not, if you're not up somewhere where you feel comfortable leaving your day job, right, and you have like a $50,000 portfolio, I don't think that's enough, to bring you in like some serious money to like be okay, because you're basically at the mercy in a way of how the market works, right? And although you're not at the mercy of like the market being red or green, because you're going to do cash secure puts and covered calls. You're still at the mercy of what the premiums are, right? And so sometimes the premiums are going to be worth less than others, and you cannot basically trade all stocks the same way, because all stocks move differently. And so that's exactly why I think that people, when they are working and they're younger, right, work your ass off so that you can work overtime as much as possible and dump that money into the stock market, dump it into your portfolio, right? Make sure you're healthy and use your medical, right? That's exactly why you work. Medical is expensive, and if you have a job, they're going to take care of your medical for you, right? Your insurance. You're going to have to pay a deductible, of course, I'm sure, but it's still a lot less than you would pay if you paid out of pocket, right? So that's why you use, a job. And you work as much as possible so you can dump as much as possible into the stock market, and you start expanding your portfolio through cash your puts and cover calls. And then when you get to a position where you're like, I think, I have enough money where I feel comfortable, and you know what you're doing, you have a few years under you, and you feel a lot more comfortable writing cash secure puts and cover calls, and you see how things work. You see how the market works. You've gone through a bull market or two. You've gone through a bear market or two, and you've been trading 20, 30 stocks, very frequently all the time. You see how the stocks work, right? Then you can take a position and say, you know what, I'm ready to leave the job market. I'm ready to leave work. I have $700,000, $700,000, 800, $900,000 in my portfolio, maybe more than $1 million. I feel fairly confident that I could bring in maybe at least $120,000 or more a year through cash your puts and cover calls. Let's see what happens. It's all up to you. Everyone's different. I don't feel comfortable just having $1 million in my portfolio just because my kids are younger, right? And kids are like black holes when it comes to just money. They get sick. They always want things. There's expenses that have to happen, unforeseen things, right? You have to pay out of pocket. And so, I'm going to wait maybe another, 10 years. And I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing and expanding my portfolio, and I told my wife, I don't want to work when I'm 60. I see what happens with when some coworkers, I've had coworkers have heart attacks in the job. I don't want that to be me. I don't want to have a heart attack at work. I've had sadly some coworkers that committed suicide. Stress really got to them. And that's a thing, guys, and I don't want to become dark over here, but people just feel like this pressure, and sadly most of that pressure is financial, and then this is a way to kind of achieve financial freedom, which is why I said I'm gonna start a channel where I talk about my progress. I kind of, it's gonna in a vlog in a way, right? And then you guys are able to see my trades, and I talk about my trades here, and you guys can literally see them because I told you, oh, I just got filled on this, I got filled on that, or someone says, hey, what whatever stock is jumping, and I go like, oh yeah, one of the Savage 20, because I'm talking here, I'm not really looking at the market as much, and then I'll go in through a cover call or cash secure put, and you guys can see it. And you guys also tell me about, what you're going through, because you're saying, hey, I just got filled for 5 cover calls or 5 cash secure puts, 3 cash secure puts on this, and we're able to see them. And if you're brand new and this is your first time, watching the channel, look at the guys here, look at the gals here. They talk about their trades. You can literally look them up and look at the option chain and like, oh man, that's right there. And then you could, if you feel comfortable and you think that this is, where you want to do, where you want to, it's a company you've been looking at, you're like, hey, I'm going to go through a cash secure put and try to emulate that trade myself. And then you're going to feel, and you'll be like, holy shit, I just made money. And same thing with cover calls. You could emulate cover calls. People today sold, SOFI $30 cover calls, $35 cover calls out to January and brought in money. Taking advantage of the volatility that the quadruple witching day is bringing, triple witching day, some would say, right? So, I mean, I don't want to tell people, leave your day job right now. Like, no. Use your day job as much as possible to fucking make a lot of money and dump it into the stock market, right? I told you guys yesterday, the first 100,000 are the hardest to make. Getting to 100,000 in your portfolio is the hardest, unless you get fucking lucky. In which case, I'd rather be lucky than be good when it comes to trading, because sometimes some people get lucky. Some people bought Nvda at like $20 because they were like, so-and-so bought Nvidia and they were talking about it as the next best thing. You're like, I'm going to buy some Nvidia, sure, some Google, and like it rips. And they're like, holy shit. And then they won't touch it, right? And it just keeps going up on them. And they're like, they become multimillionaires. It happens. That could be some of us. That's why we look at stock markets that are undervalued. And, companies that are undervalued because The best time to get in is when they are undervalued, and you go in and you buy them through cash secure put premium, and you watch them rise. And don't get angsty, don't get impatient. That's the worst thing you can do, is get impatient. you know um Warren Buffett has already he's told you, this is a quote. He's like, the stock market is a device which transfers um, money from the impatient to the patient. And it's so true. Some people here have been patient with SoFi. SoFi was trading at $4 or $5, $6, $7 for a long time. And it finally just decided to take off, and now close to $30 a share. Palantir was trading at $8. I was telling people, pounding the table, buy some Palantir, buy some Palantir. It was 14, 15 bucks. I was $20. I was do some $20, $25 cash. You can put some Palantir. Palantir is going to 100. It's going to go to 100, right? I don't know when, but everything is telling you they're making all these connections. They have all these contracts. It's just a matter of time before they really turn a profit. And just look at Palantir's $175 now, right? I was telling people about Unity. QBTS, it's all here, guys. It's in the videos. All you gotta do is watch the goddamn videos. And today, triple witching hour. I told you guys the market's gonna open up green. It's gonna watch for it to open up green, go up. Take advantage of that. Sell some covered calls, because towards the end of the day, as it goes down, as the day wears down, people are gonna, these companies are starting to unload all these, shares of different companies that they want to move away from. Sometimes it's not a bad company. They just want to trim because they want to take profit and minimize exposure, right? And that's what happens during triple witching hour day. So you take advantage of it how? By selling some cash secure puts or selling covered calls. If if the shares go down 5-10%, you go through a cash secure put if it's a company you've been looking at and get paid to buy the stock. Anyways, what do we got here? AAOI is kicking my butt. ASST is back to $4 a share. It was up to like $5 last night during after hours, but I'm gonna keep an eye on it. Let's see. Somebody got 340. I was telling you guys about a very risky. This is a risky one. All right. Usually I tell you guys some very conservative strategies on some really great stocks, but this one is a risky one. It's ASST. $4 a share right now. $5 cash secure puts could bring you 340 today. The ones that expire in October 17th. October 17th expiration date. So basically, you're putting $500 on your brokerage account, and you're telling them, I'm going to buy this stock for $5 a share on October 17th, and they're going to give you $340. So essentially, you're buying for $160, right? The stock's at $4. It's highly volatile, my friends. This is not for the faint of heart. This is not for the newbies. This is for somebody that knows how a cash secure put works, right? Somebody that has weighed all the pros and cons, and that knows that this is, in fact, a very risky move. Now, what bank is going to give you, let's say you're getting here over 50%, you're getting 60%, 65% back of your investment right off the bat, right? You put $500 away, they give you $340, okay? The $340, you can do whatever you want with. Now, this is the thing. If the stock is less than $5 on October 17th, then you're on the hook for that stock. They'll give it to you, right? This is the thing. If it's between $4 or $5, you literally could sell at market price. And if you sell at $4, you make $400, right? But remember, you got $340 back. So you essentially, on $500, you made $740. That's almost 50% back. No bank will give you that, right? Where it starts getting tricky is if it's like at 150. If the stock is at 150 on that day, then you're kind of losing $10. But it's highly volatile. So what if you get placed those shares and it rips to $2, $2.50 the next day? You can sell for a profit, or you could see what happens and keep the shares. And just like it went to 150, it goes to $12 in a month or two. And then you made a lot of money. But that's the thing. It's highly volatile stock. This is not for the faint of heart. This is not financial advice. This is me just telling you about a lottery ticket, and I'm giving you information. And my average is 345, which I've gotten back on premiums for those $5 cash your puts. So I'm on the hook for 155 essentially, which I'm totally okay with. RX is RX got up to 514 today, and they just keep knocking it below 5. So I'm guessing that's the ceiling. It's $5 for triple witching day. They're trying to make sure that all those calls and those puts die worthless. The 6s, 7s, 8s, and so on and so forth. So RX is going to make a lot of money. It's going to take some time. So right now, RX cash secure puts, January, $5 cash secure puts bring you 115 right now. That's more than 20% return on investment, and you're on the hook for $5 to buy RX at. You're essentially buying for $3.85 a share. Not terrible at all. Like, that is a great starting point for a company that may be worth $20 a share at some point. They're one new cycle away from ripping, just like QUBT, QBTS, just like QSI, SMCI, ASTS. That's RXRX. But it takes time. You have to be patient. Stocks don't do what we want them to do. The stock market does whatever it wants to do. Nobody knows what the stock market is going to do. What can you do is you take a position and you mitigate risk as much as possible by going through a cash secure put, so you get paid to actually buy the stock. And if you get those shares put into your account, great. On the day that it runs 10, 15%, you can sell covered calls against it and bring in money that way. If the shares get called away, great. You made money on your investment, and then you look for the next stock, because there's always that next stock. There's always another stock. I promise you. People that missed the boat on Nvda, Palantir was there. People that missed the boat on Palantir, QBTS was there. People that missed the boat on QBTS, QSI is right there. Smart Rent is right there. People missed the boat on Open. Smart Rent is right there. I mean, what is Smart doing today? Let's check it out. SMRT is the ticker, my friends. Let's see here. Smart is 159 today. Okay, $1.59 a share. You missed the boat on Open? No big deal. This is another real estate play, not financial advice. Obviously, this is me telling you there's a stock that has the same similarities to Open Door, and it's sitting at 159 right now. There's nothing out there. There's no paper for sale. It's just there. If you look at the option chains, there's nothing. The street hasn't found out about this just yet, but this is one thing I'll guarantee you. It'll keep going up. It'll sneakily keep going up. It was just 80 cents a share, 90 cents a share. The stock was at 67 at its lowest. It was just 70 cents, 80 cents a share, and it keeps sneaking up. It was just 110 a couple of weeks back. Then it got to like 120s and then 130s. Now it's at 159. It just hit 180 yesterday. It's going to keep going. I think in a week or two, it's going to be $2, right? And in a month from now, it's going to be $2.50. It's sneakily, and then when the street finds out about it, it'll be $4 or $5, and then people are going to be like, "Oh shit, Smart Rent went up." If you bought it at 80 cents, you fucking laughing, especially if you got a couple of thousand shares. And then you cross your arms and see what happens. It gets to $5, $6 a share. Guess what? You can sell some covered calls against it. Sell some 8s a couple of months down the road. Bring in some money. Get paid to own the stock, right? Nothing wrong with that at all. All right, let's see here. I've been rambling. Sorry, guys. So let's see here. Karen D saying, "Good morning, Savage." It's Ryan saying, sent a screenshot on Discord on general markets. CKT saying just bought 10 shares of Qbt on Think or Swim to test it. Trade went through. Good job. It's Ryan saying CKT was able to buy one share, but push spreads are closing only. CKT saying gotcha. Cute. People just talk about themselves amongst themselves. Zach G saying good day, Savage. Do you have a full list of your Savage 20 on one of your videos or on Discord? There's a couple of videos that I've made where I've gone through the list of the 20. I think it was like a week or two ago, so you're gonna have to look through the videos, but it's there. I literally talk about the Savage 20, and I say, these are like SOFI, Qbt, Qbts, Nvda, Rigetti. Let's see here, Ionq. They're there, dude. They're there. You just gotta look through them. Good day, Savage. Trip Hazard saying GME is one of them. Is looking froggy. It's all good. It's all good. Listen, I'm not even writing against GME at this point. You guys know I love my covered calls, but GME is getting held synthetically. It is synthetically getting held down, and Robinhood already said they're going to give people their warrants. Right? That's what I read, unless I'm mistaken. And so it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens, guys. I'm going to wait. It's October. Talk to me in October. All right. We still have a few weeks. Talk to me in October when those warrants are about to come in and be a thing. And then I think that Ryan just went. And I guess he gave us a screenshot of what the of where you can see the warrants at. You actually can account for the warrants now, right? So Cohen knows what he's doing, man. Cohen knows what he's doing. He's trying to hold people accountable. When GME, when they do that 8K filing and they have to account for every single warrant, it's going to get juicy, my friends. These guys are going to have to go get warrants somewhere, and it's going to be very, very cool. You can't magically synthetically create warrants. By the way, if for you guys that were thinking that could be a thing, it's not going to happen. They can't. It's such a that'll be such a lawsuit. It'll be ridiculous. You're talking about congressional hearings out the wazoo. It's going to be bad. People are going to go to jail. It's not going to happen. They're going to figure it out, and they're going to pay a shitload of money. Trip Hazard saying, Cindy, happy Friday, Savage writing options from the beach. Cindy B showing us how it's done. I know the feeling because I have written options, covered calls, and cash secure puts while on the beach in Hawaii or in LA or the beaches down in San Diego. And let me tell you, it's the greatest feeling in the world. Drinking a Mai Tai while you're sitting on a beach in Oahu and trading, making a couple of $1,000 while you are on vacation. Pretty awesome feeling. Pretty awesome feeling, my friends. Let me tell you. Smart Red 158. That's one of the Savage 20, by the way. Charlie C2 saying, hey, afternoon all. It's Ryan saying, the rant going on in the mention of SOFI at 6, Joker 6. People have flashbacks to that. Jude K. Good morning, Savage and all. Cindy B. Can't seem to be the put field on ASST even at 335. Just leave it there. Just leave it there. Don't get angsty. Don't chase it. Just leave it there. See what happens. SJ Tavera, Savage, why don't you show some charts on your screen? What charts? What chart do you want to see? Zach G. Thank you, sir. I'll do some looking for the 20. No worries, dude. Trip Hazard wrote 7 $5 puts for October 15th. I started with $2,220 by writing 4, then used that money to write 3 more. I was paid $2,300 in total. That's how you do, my friend. That's how you do. On ASST, I figured. You filled on ASST at 330. There you go. But listen, this is more high risk, high reward. So this is kind of like think of it as a lottery ticket. Okay, this is not something that is normal. This is something that it can go against you. So don't ever and make sure it's not money that it's not your money that you're making from work. Make sure it's premium money that you're investing. Please do not use your hard-earned money to go and do cash your puts on ASST. All right. please use premium money. Better to use premium of premium. So if you sold, cash secure put and created premium, and you took a lot of money from premiums and you sold more premiums or more cash secure puts, and then you bring premium on that, that's even better. SJ is saying, Savage, I heard you love yourself some Brugal. Just became my favorite YouTuber. Brugal's is shit, bro. What are you talking about? I had a girlfriend in college back in the day, man. I went to Syracuse University, upstate New York, and so there's a big Dominican and Puerto Rican community. Myself, I'm from El Salvador, but Dominicans seem to be kind of the same jive as Salvadorans. I don't know why, because we're like completely from opposite sides, right? But like, when it came to like the family values, when it came to the way you guys party, when it came to the food, and just the sazon, right? Just the spiciness, and then the way that just people go about everyday life and to communicate, and how open people are, and it was just awesome, because I felt like I had so much in common with Dominican people. And so one of my girlfriends was Dominican. He's 5'10", wonderfully awesome person. Put me onto Brugal. For my birthday, she actually brought me this big bottle of, and I was like, "What is that?" She's like, "Oh, it's good. I thought you'd like it, because she knew I like rum, and so she gave me a bottle, and I had some of it, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is delicious!" So, I ended up very enjoying Brugal very much so, and and there's Flor de Caña from Nicaragua too. That's 18 years aged rum. It's pricey in terms of, like, if you buy it in Nicaragua, it's like $20 a bottle. That's like, I don't know, the equivalent of like $2,000 in if it was here. But it's really like $500 equivalent. But still, that's a lot of money. And so, anyways, those are my favorite rums, Brugal and Flor de Caña. But Brugal has a place in my heart because it was the way in which it was introduced, and because every time I go to El Salvador, my favorite restaurant in El Salvador actually has Brugal. So when I'm down there visiting family and hanging out, I will have like a lobster with like shrimp and stuff like that. It's like this is the seafood plate that I like, and I'll wash it down with like a bottle of Brugal. And then I put my family onto that, my cousins, and they lost their fucking minds, because it's something about it. It's just our palate really it works well with Brugal. I don't know. So Trip Hazard saying, don't worry, I won't blame you. I hope not. But if you make money, blame me. CKT BBAI almost 8% right now. Going to start looking into more covered calls. BBAI, hold on there, buddy. CKT, check it out. So I just sold all my calls that I had on BBAI on a pop, and I went and I bought. I turned those calls into shares. I'm gonna wait on writing more calls on BBAI, just because there's rumors that they may do something with the government and maybe Nvda. So BBAI, it's gonna go to 20, but I'm kind of hanging tight right now just to seeing things develop. I'm gonna give it another couple of months to see how it acts. Of course, we're gonna write calls, right? But just I mean, yeah, the philosophy is wait for 5% or more, and you write cover calls, right? And I don't blame you. This is the strategy, right? But just based on what I've heard, and this is just me getting my feelings involved, right? Like, you guys should walk me off the ledge on this one, just like I walked you guys off the ledge. But I just think I think that BBAI is going to 10. So I bought back my, I got cash secure. This is the thing. I have $8 cash secure puts out, right? I have $7, $8 cash secure puts expiring 2027. and some 2026 sevens. So I'm waiting. That's kind of why I'm taking my sweet time and seeing how it develops, because I'm protected either way. And this is why you guys got to do those long-term cash your put. So, you could make money on both ends, whether it goes up or down. I bought some calls, some 550s expiring 2027, and I paid like 90 cents for them. And I think it was like, I bought 20 of them. And I just sold them for over $2 per, like 250 or something. And I brought in all this cash, and I went in and I bought like 500 shares, at market price. So my average was $4. It's up a little higher now, but I'm okay with that. So yeah, no, I don't blame you for writing calls on BBAI, man, at all. I just I wouldn't, it's all good, brother. You know what you're doing. You're making money. I get it. I'm personally going to wait a little bit. I think it could run a little bit more. I wrote on your Unity suggestions last year, made 10K on that. Boom. I'm so glad, Trip Hazard. There's a man that just made 10K. There you go, sir. That's how you do it, man. You just take money off the table. There's nothing wrong with you made 10K. That's, if you work a minimum wage job for a year, that's kind of what you bring in. So you just made someone's minimum wage for the year. That's crazy. Hats off, my friend. I'm glad you're making money. And I'm glad that I'm able to kind of assist in like giving you information on what may be out there. And if you can make money on that, awesome. SJ saying, yeah, Florida Kind is pretty good too. It is. Got to get that Pitorro from PR over the holidays. The good homemade kind. I like Coquito, bro. I like Coquito. I got some PR homies in the city, and once in a while I'll hit them up during the holidays, and they know how they make it. You know the deal, and they'll be and then they'll hook me up with a bottle or two, and that Coquito hits, man, especially with some lechon. We have this plate called yuca con chicharrón, right, in El Salvador, which is like it's essentially like cassava boiled or fried with like some cabbage and tomatoes and little lime over it and some salsa, and then you put some lechon parts or chicharrón right on top of it, and then you eat it. That's a plate, and then you wash it down with some coquito. That shit, yes sir. I know the deal, man. SJ saying, I'm Dominican, you're one of us now. One of us. Well, que lo que, right? Gotta get me some Pitorro. I want to try that. Pitorro's it's off the hook, bro. But I like Coquito, man. It's just, so I'm from El Salvador, right? And I'm from a place called Sonsonate. And it literally is called the land of the coconuts. We're called cocoteros because that's like literally, as soon as you come into the little tiny state, you'll see like endless coconut trees, like as you enter the state all the way through to the beach. And that's like a part of that state is all beach. It's all like beachfront. It's wonderful. I'm from the best state, honestly, because I'm from a valley, and like we go up a mountain, and then down the mountain there's the Pacific Ocean. Kind of cool, man. I'm pretty spoiled. Zach, you saying SJ is basically moonshine, but it comes with a coconut that's been buried in the sand to age it. Yes. Zach G knows the deal. Tom Kaufman saying, hey, Savage, you do not get the notification. Tom, let me see. I'm sure it's here somewhere. I have so many notifications on my phone, from Webull, from Charles Schwab, from Robinhood, from the Discord, from my job. We're in a Discord as well, and it's just so much. It's so hard because I'm focused here, and then I'm looking at the market. But like I'm sure I'll get it there. Why? What's up? What's the notification about? Let's see here. Coquito's fired too. Yeah, Coquito's fired. CKT 2,000 shares on BBBI. Put a bid for $8 covered calls on December for 129 times 2. See if it fills. So good. So good. You're making money. You're essentially selling at 919. I see no wrong, man. I see no wrong. Let's go, Savage. The same dude. SJ saying, damn, Zach, you got to make me fly out to PR like ASAP. You don't have to go to PR. You just got to know who you know. I know a guy. I know a few guys. I know some girls too, and fucking they're awesome. Dude is saying, give this man a thumbs up for sure. Thank you. Hey, thumbs up for real. Thumbs up, guys. I see like 35 people here, and then only 15 thumbs up. Something's wrong, man. Zach G says, Jay Vamos. Y'all gonna make me go to PR. I go to PR on a whim. I fucking love PR. I love Puerto Rican people, man. Puerto Rican people. Listen, I don't know why, but like I get along with Puerto Rican people and Dominicans way better than like a lot of other people. I don't know if it's just like the camaraderie. I don't know if it's a fucking. I think it's a rum. I honestly think it's a rum. The Cubans I'm cool with, but not as much as I am with Dominicans and with Ricans, man. Those crazy Ricans, man, and those platanos, man, they're fucking crazy, and I dig it. I love peoples, man. I love the peoples. Let's see, dude is saying I got $4 for October 5s. Put on ASST last week. Got stinkier on ASST. Stinkier is better. Ya compré mi vuelo. This dude, yo, you know what, man? Wouldn't it be awesome if you guys were trading like somewhere in Vieques or like somewhere in like San Juan in a beach somewhere, like just going off on some Bacardi, right? Some coquito or something, and then you guys are trading, making money. And even if you're shit faced, you're still making money because you're selling covered calls, and you guys are telling me about it. I think it'd be hilarious. Is that how you do it? I was drinking Mai Tais on fucking at the beach in Oahu, in Waikiki. And I was pretty gone. And I was watching Uncle Bruce, and I'm just like, oh shit, look, my alert went off, and I'm like, sell covered calls, C3.ai, $30 covered calls for I think it was December, so I was selling some March, and I brought in like $5,000 or something like that. And I was like, what? Like I just made $5,000 sitting here watching my wife and my kids like splash each other with water on the beach. I'm drinking a Mai Tai. It's like it's a dream, right? And that's when it clicked. I was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. And that's why I work my ass off at work as much as possible. I try to make as much money as possible. And then like, of course, I pay, what I can pay, and I take care of my business. But then I dump all money that's possible into the stock market. I just dump it. And I just dump it in, and I go through cash secure puts, cover calls, whatever. And if I see, for example, let's say that SOFI went to $18, $16, for whatever reasons next week, some shit happened, nothing to do with fundamentals or Noto, nothing. It just something happened, right? It was dilution. I will go in and buy at like share price at market price. I will go in and buy at market price because it just makes no sense for me. If I was willing to buy at 25, why the fuck wouldn't I buy at 16, 15 bucks? Which is why I went on C3.ai when it went to like $13, $14 a couple of weeks back. I was going nuts telling people, fuck, buy at $15 cover calls, $17.50 cash secure puts, bring in, just buy at market price, just buy it, just hoard it. Because everyone else is. The people that know were buying it down there, and now I bought calls even. I bought like I think 25 calls, some 20s and some 25s up to 2027, and I just wrote a ridiculous amount of covered calls yesterday, and I brought in some money. Brought in some money. It's made the money real, my friends. Let's see here. SJ saying, yeah, but I'm in Canada. So CKT saying, field WBA, I'll sell for 200 shares at 8 for 919. I like it. It's fine. You're making money. It's all good. CDB saying, I really want to go to PR. Love to go there on vacation. CDB, that's a great vacation. You know where it's awesome to go on vacation? Go to El Salvador. I promise you. Right now, it's the safest country in the Western Hemisphere. Just look it up. There's so much to do in El Salvador. There's so much to do. It's such an awesome place. And actually, it's probably cheaper than PR. And you could go to the beach. You could eat at the beach, and you could stay there. There's so many trips to make. There's so much awesome food. The people are amazing. Not that you wouldn't find amazing people in PR. I'm just saying, like, if you are in the West Coast or the Midwest, if you go to El Salvador, it'd probably be easier to get to than if you went from the East Coast. But if you're in the East Coast, PR would make sense. But no, El Salvador is amazing. El Salvador is amazing. I'm glad I have a house over there. Not trying to retire in the U.S. I'm trying to retire elsewhere, man. Let's see here. Zach G saying my wife makes a good coquito for Christmas. She's Mexican, but found an excellent recipe online. That's how you do it. Yeah, man. That's a good wife. That is why she's the wife. Jude K saying I agree, Savage. It has to be the rum. It's got to be the rum. SJ saying trading in front of the beach is my dream. No need a lot. Just drink in my hand and some good food, fam. Yes, you don't need much, man. It's just there's not honestly like what do we really need, right? I don't need much. You just chill, and that's kind of what I want to do. I want to retire early with my wife, and I want to travel the world and just trade. Kind of what Uncle Bruce is doing, except I want to do it 20 years earlier than him. Let's see here. Mr. Premium saying happy Fridays. Him stinker hit, sold a cash coupon for $10.50 and just bought back for 1 cent. God damn, premium of the option. States making that bread. The man is like fucking the Zen of Buddha. That's what you have. You have the Zen of a Buddha. Dude is saying, took your advice from yesterday and rolled out my sold calls to November, took in some serious cash and raised my strikes. Thank you, Savage, for giving me the motivation to take everything, my friend. I'm glad you're making money. That's what's up. That's how you do it, man. We're on our journey to $1 million. I want to make 100 millionaires on my channel. That is the goal, and I want you, each and every one. You guys have to tell me I did it. $1 million, Savage. I am a millionaire. I want to read it. I want to have a little board here, and every time someone says I'm a millionaire, I'm gonna put a little dash. Let's see here. SJ saying, what up, senor? Poto. I'll be trading on the beach in November for the week, taking my oldest 2 boys deep sea fishing. We will see if I can trade out in the ocean. CKT, let us know. I'm very curious in that. Why not? We were fishing in Hawaii when I was trading. I literally was fishing, and we caught some cool stuff. We caught mahi-mahi. And we made ceviche with mahi-mahi, and we made some of the steaks and grilled them. Oh, it was delicious. We made some poke. Mr. Premium is saying, SJ Taveras, what's up, buddy? Go SOFI. CKT, that's nice. Enjoy. Carl Seymour's in the house saying, hey, portfolio all-time highs today. Let's go. Carl Seymour saying, I'll be crying next week when it drops 1%. Zach G saying, yeah, Carl, way to go. Mr. Premium saying, get that red snapper at Mahi at CKT. Mahi is the shit, dude. The red snapper is delicious too. I like the red snapper, and I like to fry it. It's delicious. Moneymaker One saying, yeah, my dad is from Omega, and he has property down there. Goal is to take my profits and build a house down there and then retire. Yeah, no, that's it, man. You don't need much, and honestly, you could trade anywhere. And although, yeah, imagine making $100,000 right a year trading. You're gonna have to pay some taxes on that, fine. But if you turn yourself into like an LLC and you're basically your own company, there's tax breaks, right? And you could like offset your taxes some way, somehow. You're gonna have to talk like somebody is gonna do your taxes for you at that point, right? But like you end up paying like out of pocket, like maybe 5,000, right? You're making 95,000 and you're bringing, you can live anywhere in the world with that money. And when you're just trading, you got to get to a point where your portfolio would bring you that. But imagine making like 50,000. That's the goal, man. That's the goal. And then I'm being conservative here, right? Like if you guys have $1 million portfolio, you could bring in 30% for on the conservative side. That's $300,000. I don't know what type of lifestyle you have. If $300,000 is not enough for you to live a cool life, like, buddy, this is not the channel for you. You know, you got to go over to like this the secret channels out there. There's some specific digital media and social media that's just catered towards like the wealthy, and I think they pay to like be on the app. It's like a very exclusive app. It's like $100,000 a year or something like that to be on that app. That's the type of lifestyle you want. So, anyways, Carl is saying I'm looking to sell some of my SOFI calls and sell some SOFI puts to keep my exposure, possibly in the day before earnings for high premiums. Any advice? That's it. That's it. I don't see anything wrong with your high premiums. If SOFI goes down 5-10% on some week, for whatever reason between now and earnings, why not going through $30 cash cure puts expiring 2027? Try to bring in $10 for a cash cure put of more for those 30s. There's nothing wrong with that at all, my friend. And then keep the exposure that way. You could sell your covered calls. Some of the calls today or next week if it goes to 30, and then take in that cash and then wait. Chill, have it. Kind of retract somehow, some way, and then do the $30 cash cure puts. The visuals say, my brother Jude K Fresh makes a great fish taco. Yes, he does. Premium saying Jude K, they're hella fun to catch too. Agree, Mr. Premium. As G Tavares says, so true. There's some YouTubers saying that you need at least 5 million retire. I'm like, what the hell? Well, so they're probably talking about if you just have your money in ETFs, right? And you're bringing in like, I don't know, 5% a year or something like that. But we're not trying to do that. We're not trying to. These are guys that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. These are guys that just. I've shown you how to do it. We did an exercise where somebody was basically saying, and God damn it, I want to see this Wall Street Journal. I want to see if I can share it with you guys, man. Somebody was telling this guy that he's going to retire and he would like some advice on what to do with this portfolio because his wife does not know how to trade. She doesn't know what she's doing, and he's just like very nervous because they have a kid, and he wants to basically make sure that his kid's taken care of. And if this guy has some advice on how to best manage that $1.1 million 401k. And I'm trying to see if I can find it. Let's see here. Let me see if I can find it, my friends, because it's we did the exercise and we didn't even take all the money the guy had. We just took $1 million and we played with it. And we ended up making almost $400,000 on like $800,000. Oh, okay. There's a new one. Let me see if I can share this with you guys, man. No, bro, these guys sell options. They sell options? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what type of lifestyle they're living, man. But it's not that type of living. No, dude, that's fucking nuts. Yeah, I guess if you want to bring in $1 million a year, look at this. They plan to die at home. My in-laws, 95, are leaving us $250,000. What should we do with this lovely money? I don't know, man. They have a low income and do not file taxes. Look at this lovely couple. They want to leave their money. My in-laws are 95. They have a low income, do not file taxes, and they plan to die at home. They want to give their son, my husband, $250,000 from their sale of their home. My in-laws are living rent-free in a small family home. My husband and I are 64. What should we do with all this lovely money? Right? And then this guy is probably going to say, if since or buts at your current age, you could have 30 years of retirement ahead of you. This could be even more likely for your husband, given that his parents are in their 90s. Choices are a luxury, but can feel like a burden. I recently told someone that to beware of living with too many ifs. But if given the lack of financial details in your story, I will give you some of my ifs. These will hopefully help others in similar fortunate situation. If you have a mortgage rate that's putting pressure on your ability to pay your expenses and or invest money, pay some of it off now. That's actually not bad because if you could pay off your mortgage, and I'm talking principal. This is something that I do with my wife. I try to come up with $10,000 a year, and I just give it to her, and I say, put this toward the principal of the house, not a house payment, not a payment. Like this is toward the principal of the house, right? So we can get out from underneath that all that interest in the back end and here up front because you pay most of it now, right? And that actually, the way that it's worked out, um, up to this point, we're gonna be able to pay off the house in 20 years instead of 30, as of right now. If I keep doing it, hopefully in the next 10 years, I'll pay off the house way earlier than expected. So instead of taking 30 years to pay the house, we'll take 14, 13, 14 years. That's the goal. But we'll see what happens. So and then we have a mortgage rate. We refinance, so we're like in like a 2.1 or some shit, some ridiculously low fucking interest rate. So that would be good. Paying that off. If you're used to hearing about people who snagged at 2.5 or 3 rate during the pandemic, you might be reluctant to pay 5%, but others would see that as a welcome respite from the current 30-year, which hovers around 6.7. Investing only 50% of your available funds in equities would be considered a relatively conservative strategy at your age. So, but investing only 50% of your available funds in equities will be considered a relatively conservative strategy at your age, given how long people are living. You may also wish to use your in-law story as a cautionary tale by looking into a long-term care insurance. As I explained to the reader, long-term care insurance premiums increase significantly based on the age and health conditions. And keep 2 years of expenses as an emergency fund. If you invested $200,000 in this windfall in the S&P 500 at an average 7% annual return, you roughly have $393,430 by the time you're 74, and $773,937 by the time you're 84. So this is where I'm at. Look at that. So if you invest $200,000 and just bring in 7% annual, right? By the time they're 74, they'll bring $393,000, right? That's a lot of time. If you invest $200,000 at an average of 7%, we can bring in 30 to 50% a year. 30 to 50% a year. If you switch that and you do, and this is compounding, right? So do you understand how much money, if we had $200,000, and a lot of people had $200,000, any of you would have $200,000. Most people wouldn't know what to do with that money. But you guys here watching me, you guys are like, oh shit, you know what? That's let's do 10 SOFI $30 cash puts out to 2027, right? $30,000. Boom. There it is. Hey, Nvda. Let's do an Nvda 150 or an Nvda $200 cash put out to 2028. What does that bring you? Right? That's the 200,000, right? Nvda, let's just do this exercise real quick. Nvda is going nowhere. It's 175 right now. Okay. Go to January 2028, sell a put, $200 Nvda right now. You could bring in 49.18. So basically, put 49.20 there. You can bring $49,200 right now if you did a cash cure put on Nvda. That's on $200,000. Okay, that's more than 7% right then and there, and that's been extremely conservative, right? So, $200,000, right? For for 10 Nvidias, right? You could do 5 of them. That's $100,000. You know, I mean, what? You know, you bring in 25% of that right off the bat. Nvidia, if you go to 2027, so the $200 put to 2027, okay? Just next year, at the end of next year, January 2027, or beginning of the following year, you sell 5. You could bring in $20,849 right now, right? So basically, you do $100,000, you bring in 20%. What is wrong with that? You bring in 25% the other way, 20% right now, okay? And do you see Nvidia $200 a share in 2027 January? I don't. So you're gonna get that money back, and then you do it again. So, but now you're not gonna do it on $100,000. Now you're gonna do it on $120,000, right? So and it's gonna keep compounding, and then you still could do, you know, and mitigate risk by going and diversifying your portfolio. You do, you know, some cash secure puts on SOFI, cash secure puts on Amazon or Google, right? You can absolutely outdo this, and it's just like, you know, why 7% is crazy. Like just interest. I'm sorry, just inflation is like half of that. It's not really realistically. It's way more. Things are 7%, way more than 7%. Than what they were like a year ago, easily. But like just being conservative, right? Speaking here, if you have $100,000 in a 401k or IRA, invest this money or at least part of it. If you have $1 million in a 401k or IRA, you put into the market, your 74-year-old selves will thank you. I assure you're both working towards a retirement and plan on drawing Social Security at either 67, your retirement age. Full retirement age, or at 70, when you get an extra 8% above your FRA. If you could afford to wait, that could mean a few $100 more a month. And then there's a warning, and now warning: gifting $250,000 before they pass away should be documented in the IRS. But more importantly, by selling their home, and your in-laws would be the subject to a 5-year look-back Medicaid ruling, making them ineligible for Medicaid benefits. I say that because you mentioned they don't file income taxes, which I assume is because they don't have enough earnings. On that subject, are the property taxes due to their home? Needs-based programs: to be eligible for Medicaid, a person must have no more than $2,000 in accountable assets, which includes bank accounts and investments, and no more than $2,829 a month in income. Those figures can change depending on the state. They will need more. They will need to be more careful to stay under that limit if they wish to qualify. So this is exactly why you put everything on trust. You put everything in trusts, and instead of selling that house, they should put it on a trust and give it to their son. Either way, $250,000 is a lot of money, my friends, and I don't know why they're poo-pooing it and saying, "Oh man, you know, that's really not a lot of money." If you get 7%, you know, blah blah blah. It's like, dude, you could absolutely outdo that 7%. Any of you guys out there can do so right now. Let's see here. Fresh, my mind gets fish tacos, sell options. So yeah, that's crazy. These guys that sell options are insane. I don't know what they're talking about. It's crazy unless you really want to live luxurious life and fancy life. It doesn't make sense. AAST, why are the premiums so much higher than the cost? Well, because there's a lot of more pressure on the puts than there is the call side. Lisa, Carl is saying in the UK we don't have long-term fixed rates. It's such a scam. Yeah, man. I mean, you know, why is it that people have to pay off the interest first, right? I think it is a scam because you take a loan out for your house, and you know you pay, let's say, I don't know, $2,000 a month on for mortgage, right? And then like in the fine print, after you've made a payment, it'll say that, you know, $1,700 or $1,600 went towards the loan, right? Towards the interest rate. And then like $90 went into like the premium, and then like another $100 towards taxes, another $100 for whatever fees. And it's such a ripoff because why are you paying interest first? Like, why isn't it just like over 30 years just divided by that 30 or 30 times 12, right? That's such a ripoff. But anyways, that's exactly why you put money towards the sorry, principal of the house, right? So anyways, that's where we are, my friends. I just it's just very interesting to see, how people manage money and what information these experts give you out there, that I don't think it's something that's going to bring you a lot of money, because if anything, you're staying up with inflation at that point. That's crazy. I think cash your puts, cover calls is the way to do it. It's the equalizer, so to speak. And what is it that I wanted to talk to you guys? Oh yes, BMNR. I went in, guys. I had sold, I believe, a $55 cash your put on BMNR, and I brought in like $12, and then it ran up yesterday to like 60 something, and I bought it back, and I made like a hundred something, $160 or something like that. And then I went back in today, and I sold another cash secure put on BMNR during the that little hiccup it had in the morning. And I went to November, and I got a 1010. Somebody gave me $1,010, $1,010 to buy BMNR at $55 a share, which is ridiculous. So I made $1,010 right just on that trade alone. I don't know if you guys know anything about BMNR, but it's going to be a moneymaker. It's a blockchain technology company which engages in industrial scale digital asset mining, equipment sales, and hosting operations. It operates through the cryptocurrency mining industry segment, and it's pegged pretty much to Ethereum. One of the guys that's going to start taking the helm on it is actually somebody that I follow, and this guy is an absolute beast. His name is Tom Lee. If you guys can Google him, or I think he goes on YouTube once in a while. His name is Tom Lee. The guy is just fucking smart, genius actually, and he's been calling the market, how it moves. So he's a bull, and I'm a bear. But you got to understand that when somebody has really good thesis, right? You have to change the way you think based on the available information you received. That's the traits of somebody that's mature and willing to learn all the time. We're always learning. Anyways, so I'm okay saying I'm wrong in a lot of ways, in a lot of times. And I'm also okay pivoting and switching my beliefs, right? Based on available data. I'm a data guy. If you show me, hey, Savage, I don't agree with you, and this is why, and you show me and you make a case and it makes sense, I'm like, dude, you're right. You're absolutely right. I'll say you are absolutely right. I was wrong. Based on this data that I see, I'm wrong and you are right. And so then you change your strategy based on and that's exactly what you have to do in the stock market. Is you gotta be flexible. You gotta use new data sometimes to pull the plug and say, I was wrong on that. Let me pivot. Let me mitigate my risks. Right? That's one of the traits that someone that's willing to learn and a mature person has. SOFI at 29.36, setting some $35 covered calls to January. Not a bad thing right now, my friends. Let me tell you. Anyways, you guys may want to put this on your radar. BMNR is a Bitcoin Immersions Technologies. That's what it's called. It's a 6090 right now. But anyways, I wanted to put that on your radar, guys, because I think they're going to go to a lot more than $60 a share, especially under Tom Lee. So at this point, I'm going through a cash secure put. I think $50 in November. It's not a bad rate. $55. I'm willing to get paid $1,000 to buy at 55, meaning that I'm really buying at 45. Nothing wrong with that at all. Charlie C2 is saying I'm going to put some money into Tom Lee's Ethereum fund that's going to make money over time for sure. Yeah, no, that's BMNR, my man. That's the one. And I'm just itching, for Ethereum to come down to like $3,700 a share. Because if it does, I'm gonna go in, man, and I'm gonna finally buy maybe some more. Well, again, I'm gonna buy. So I don't know. I don't know if you guys can see here, but hold on. In 2018, September 5th, 2018, I bought 2 Ethereum. I bought one at, let's see here, one at 211. Sorry, I bought one at 257.80 and one at 257 50. Now, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's right there. Back in the day, I don't know if you guys can see it, but and I sold when it hit $1,000 because I was like, that's too much money, but I didn't think it was gonna go to 4,000. It's back to where I guess it was all-time highs, right? I think in 2021 is kind of when it hit $4,700, and then it tanked back to like $1,200. I thought it was going to come down under like 500, and I was wrong, but and I never got in again. But now I'm just, if it hits $3,500, $3,700, I may go back in again and take a take a position. SOFI is pushing for a new high. Yeah, no, it's fine, dude. It wants to go to 30, of course. I said SOFI is going to go to 30, but the thing is that it's gonna stay there, right? It's going to stay at 30. That's the ceiling. It's a psychological number. Everything is telling you that's resistance, right? So let's get paid. Go to 35. Sell some $35 covered calls expiring January. Get paid $2.50, $3 for the call, right? What's wrong with that? You're essentially selling at $37.50, $38 a share. If you bought it at $8, you're making $3,000 per contract. You sell 10 of those, you make $30,000. Like, what is wrong with that? And you could use that money anywhere else. Anywhere else. Pay down the mortgage. Put $10,000 of that towards your principal of the house. Bring down your overall monthly payments, because over 30 years, right, that's going to become less. Instead of 30 years, now you're going to be at 29 years or 28 years, something like that. That's a big deal. You don't have to worry about in the back end 2 years of your life. You're not going to worry about a mortgage based on the decision you're making today. And SOFI just made it possible. It's just an idea. I'm not telling you what to do with your money. It's just an idea. Anyways, guys, I want to get out of here. It's time for me to get going. I got to start my day. It's been an hour and 40 minutes since I came in on here. Great talking to you guys. Great seeing that you guys are making a lot of money. Great to seeing that you guys actually like Brugal and rum, and I think that's awesome. And I love seeing that you guys are going to be up in the beach trading, and some of you guys are in fact in the beach trading, and that's just great to hear. Gonna be back probably Sunday night around 5 p.m. California time, so that we can talk about Monday and what we may see Monday. I don't know if I'll go live on Monday. My son, he has this thing in his finger, and it's kind of like some weird growth. We're gonna have to take him to get some a little MRI, and then based on that MRI, I guess we have surgery scheduled for him to take that off. The doctor just wants to make sure that there is no exposed like veins or like an artery there or something weird, so that he can just come in and slice that off and then put a little skin graft there and some sutures, and then my son, he'll be good. But I think that's next week as well. So Monday morning this happens, so I may not go live on Monday. So that's why I'm going to go on Sunday. But we already know the deal. Green markets, give us a go to sell some cover calls. Red markets, which I'm expecting a little red actually on Monday. We'll see what happens though. If not a mixed bag, then we are going to look at cash secure puts. Are things just like being synthetically propped up? We don't know. I think there's a lot of FOMO going on right now, right? I think we're overexposed, but it's all good because we're making money. We're selling covered calls. We're going through cash secure puts, minimizing our exposure. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that at all. We'll take what the market gives us. We're not trying to time the market, right? We're taking our time in the market to make better decisions on how we approach going through cash secure puts, covered calls, and then taking, what the market gives, and we give them nothing. We take everything. We give them nothing. Anyways, my friends, you guys have a great day, a great rest of your day. I hope you guys have a awesome weekend and enjoy it. See you guys Sunday night. I'm the Savage of Wall Street. Thank you for watching, knuckleheads. Have a great day. Take it easy, guys. Late.